Do you just have a clue? We're live.
Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. This one's going to be hilarious. I don't know why everyone's laughing.
It's already started.
I don't care. But this one's going to get heated. The smiles are going to go soon. I can almost guarantee that one, because tonight we're going to be talking about the Premier League youngsters, and I know RJ's already going to trigger some Liverpool fans, and they'll probably trigger him back. But how are we all doing, guys?
I'm doing grand.
Right,
Excited for sure.
Jeannie's gone back and hiding.
Hello.
I'm presuming Dom's at the house or something.
Hashtag Dommy all over Twitter, boys. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, make sure when you're talking about the channel, make sure you use the hashtag Domini. Yeah. It's as I said, all this politeness, it's probably going to go soon. Basically, what we'll do is we'll go through the positions. So we'll start with wing backs, do some centre backs if anyone can find some young centre backs that these teams have that aren't, Reece Williams. And then we'll just work our way through.
Already.
Yeah, mate, he's world class, bro. He's got the potential to be better than Van Dijk. That is clear to see. So what we'll do is we'll start with Sauls. Who would you say that you think is your best right back that you think is in the Premier League, and then we'll start debating.
Obviously, it's a youngster. I think I've been very impressed with what Reece James has brought to the table. Would we consider Trent in this conversation? Because I'm just not exactly sure how old he is.
Yeah, we would consider Trent.
So yeah, I mean, they're the two for me that I'm really excited to see. The thing is, they offer similar stuff, and I know people are going to argue with that, but they offer similar stuff in terms of their attacking ability is just out of this world at times. They're sensational in terms of how they cross the ball, they overlap. And even both of them have a brilliant strike on them as well. I mean, we've seen some fantastic goals from Reece James, especially in the earliest part of the season. And the free kicks that Trent scored are just brilliant. Between the two, you'd have to give it to Trent because he's a Premier League winner and he's been at that, sort of top level, and he's won him a Champions League as well. So I just think, just for that reason, I think Trent is, in my opinion, probably one of the best right backs at the moment.
I guess it depends on if you're looking for attacking wise or defensive wise, because for me there is absolutely someone that absolutely destroys Trent defensively, and I think RJ's about to bring him up. I feel like RJ's about to bring him up. RJ.
Oh, okay, I know. Yeah, sorry, I missed him out.
No, for me, I do think every right back that Souls brought up is correct. They are all talented right backs. I have two right backs that haven't been mentioned. I do think they deserve a shout. I do think when it comes to defending and one-on-one, no one beats Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He was sensational last season, and he does have a few mess-ups this season, but let's be honest, defensively, no one beats him. It's just how it is. He even allows some players to go a tiny bit just so that he can side tackle. No defenders like that, so you have to give him a bit of credit for that.
For me, no defenders like him slide tackling.
No one lets you. No, what
I thought we capped it at 22. That's why I never mentioned it.
Yeah.
How old is
Trent's 22.
Oh,
Wan-Bissaka's the same age.
We'll class.
Trent's 22.
Class
What do you
20.
mean?
Hold on, Tom.
He's 22.
We were. Hold on. Me and you were going through. Who could we incorporate? I said Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and you made absolutely no comment last night. So don't comment. Don't start
trying to find Matty Cash's age. Thank you very much.
I think it's fair that we will include Wan-Bissaka because let's just say 23 and under seems quite a fair for a youngster, considering that the category underneath I think is like what under 23. We'll just pass under 23s.
Yeah, I still would have gone with Trent. But yeah, go on.
One other player I think he deserves a shout. I do think he's a potential, but I don't think he's there yet. No, come on. We're talking about good. We're talking about good right backs. No, for me, I think Lamptey deserves a shout from Brighton. I think he's had a very good breakout season this season. Obviously, he has been the most disciplined he has got sent off, but it just shows that he's not scared to put in a tackle, and that's something you do need to know as a right back because if you don't put in tackles, they're just going to run past you. So he does deserve a shout. I don't think he's the best, but I do think he has the potential to be the best because. He's the pace. He's all. The only thing that Brighton really need is strikers, and we've talked about this on the channel. I mean, Maupay won't score you goals. Conley really won't score you goals, even though he's Irish, I like him so much. But we won't. He does need a few strikers because if he's crossing in balls into the box, he needs a striker to get on those headers. So I do think with the good striker up top, he'll be rated a lot higher.
Martial then. Genie in the bottle. Who's your one?
Yeah, Trent's number one. There's a lot of good names that we've already mentioned. Wan-Bissaka, Reece James, Lamptey. He was going to say James Justin too. Obviously, he's got an ACL, but this season he's been absolutely fiery down there. Both flanks, right and left. There we go.
Genie's gonna make friends.
But number one for me is Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That's fair. Tom?
Number one for me is Trent. What he's achieved at such a young age is ridiculous. It's more than what most players achieve over a career. And to be such an integral part of the team that's achieved it is all credit to him. But I want to give a bit of credit to someone who has been playing on a struggling side this season, but he's shone since coming up from the Championship, and that's Omar Bogle. Is that his name? Bogle from Sheffield United.
Oh, yes.
He's one of the star players this season. I think he's got 3 goals from wing back. He's been really outperforming the expectations that were given to him. And if Sheffield United do go down, he's got a tough choice to make because Chris Wilder can get the best out of him, but I'm sure he won't be short of suitors from Premier League clubs.
Yeah. Kieran, what about you, mate?
I can only echo what everyone said, to be honest with you. I think realistically, if you're looking at, what, a young fullback's achieved, I think you've got to look at Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think defensively, Wan-Bissaka is the best fullback in the league. I think, in terms of, if you could combine the two, I think you'd have the perfect fullback, but obviously that's not possible. The shouts these guys have been making, James Justin again has been brilliant. The one player I was going to that's a centre back. Sorry, I was thinking of a centre back. But yeah, no, as I said, the shouts at everyone.
You're too far ahead, Kieran. Okay.
I know. I was thinking.
Don't worry, man. Don't worry.
Word in my head. Don't worry. But yeah, as I said, the shouts the guys have said. I mean, they pretty much covered all bases. Reece James, decent shout for me. I'd have to probably put Trent at number one begrudgingly, but I think I'm going to put Wan-Bissaka at joint first for defending.
Did anyone say Matty Cash?
Someone did.
I think there's a unanimous agreement that Matty Cash.
I'll suggest every single one of you hold your heads in shame because I would have definitely been saying Matty Cash for me deserves 100% a shout.
Yeah.
2 shouts. I think they're not the best, and I don't think we'd class them, but they're decent enough to be incorporated into sort of. They've got the potential, and that is Neco Williams and Brandon Williams. I think both of them, under the right manager, if given the right resources and the right stuff around them, I think both of them can go on to do fairly well. It's a tough one because Trent everything he does attacking wise absolutely smashes Wan-Bissaka. But then everything Wan-Bissaka does absolutely destroys Trent. And I think it was Kieran that said, if you could mold two into one player, you would create an absolutely disgraceful player that is going to kill every single team. So it's about what you want your wing backs to do. Do you want them to be attacking? It's not that Trent's numbers sort of defensively are bad. It's just when you look at the numbers that Wan-Bissaka's done and then converted them into percentages so it actually is fair, that you can't even compare them. It's that bad. But then if you were to look at the attacking stats as well, you just can't compare them. So Sauls, what's your ideal wing back? Is it someone that goes forward, or is it someone that does the defensive duties?
My ideal right back in the time that I've been alive has been Dani Alves. Someone like him, because he is the mold of the two.
Connor Cody has scored for Wolves. Connor Cody. Wolves.
Let's go over to our correspondent at the Etihad. Well, what do you have to say, Jeffrey?
Where's Charlie at? Charlie, where are you at? Come on, Andrew.
I was just about to say,
I'll have to rewatch the goal. I actually missed it. I'm presuming it's the corner header here. It's a free kick whipped in by Ruben Neves here. It's a tight call, I'd have to say, Jeff. It's just a diving header, and it's just gone straight into the bottom right corner, really, Jeff. And you just got to give full credit to Connor Cody, really, Jeff. But it's Manchester City 1, Wolves 1 at the Etihad, Jeff.
Yeah, I can hear the fans go absolute wild over here. Right, before we make this a watch along, what I was saying, right, is Dani Alves in my lifetime anyway. Obviously, there probably are players who come before me that probably will, but unfortunately, I'm not that old. But every time I've seen Dani Alves, that was the wing back that I want to see at any club, because defensively solid, attackingly solid. There wasn't really anything to his game that I could see that was limited, and that's what I like to see. It's not about Trent is brilliant going up, but that's the problem. Modern day football has changed so much where you need that side of you, and unfortunately, Wan-Bissaka doesn't offer that, and then Trent does, so he looks a lot better because he suits the modern day football. So yeah, I'd say Dani Alves if you want to know a name, but for me, it's the discipline of both.
Yeah.
That's fair. RJ, what's your ideal wing back then? It'll be easier for us all to identify what we actually think is a proper wing back of what we believe, and then be able to debate who we think's better.
Yeah. For me, I do agree Dani Alves is a great shout. For me, I think, and this is no bias, but I'm going for Gary Neville. For me, he is the best right back of all time in Premier League history, for the reason that he was United captain, he showed leadership, and the fact he can go up and down, same as Dani Alves, probably not the same level, but the fact his leadership skills were pretty much second to none. You couldn't write him off. Obviously, at the start of his career at United, he wasn't obviously the most favourite player. Obviously, Vieira had a few digs at him back in 2004, but he became stronger, and for me, he's my ideal right back because, like I said, up and down, and he puts in the shift every game.
Yes, that's fair. Jeannie?
I don't think there's really a specific answer to this, because it fully depends on your philosophy of football. Wan-Bissaka wouldn't work at all in a Liverpool format. So for me, I'm going to have to say, the attacking fullbacks, the overlapping fullbacks, because that is what I've grew up on. That's my team's philosophy. So I think it just all depends on the philosophy of football your manager installs in the team.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Tom?
I'm going to go for a bit of a different one. As much as I love Trent, I do prefer my right back to be defensively solid. So what I've always enjoyed watching is Cafu. I thought he was just so good.
Good show.
He so good on both ends. He was Dani Alves before Dani Alves, really. For AC, he was part of that brilliant AC Milan team. Him and Maldini at fullback, he revolutionised it at the time. And I think he deserves a lot more credit than what he gets. He should be in the conversation for best of all time in their position.
Yeah, no, that's a valid one. Kieran?
Yeah, again, I think, everyone's kind of a decent shout. I think, yeah, for me, I'd have to say that you want that balance. Obviously, in an ideal world, the perfect fullback, if we're talking about that, is obviously one that can, go forward and, at times be your best attacker, but also at times be your best defender. And that's obviously hard to come by these days. It seems like you either get one or the other. It's very rare that you get a player that can do both. So yeah, for me, I think as Jeannie said as well, it's all about depending on your philosophy of football as well, whether you're more kind of attacking or whether you like to kind of keep it tight. So I don't know. I think a lot of good shouts in there, but I think in terms of the perfect fullback, really, you want them to be able to go forward, but then not get caught up the pitch too often. You want them to be able to come back when needed and do a job. So the shouts of these guys I've mentioned already, Gary Neville's, the Dani Alves, these are perfect shouts. Cafu as well. So yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
Yeah, that's fair. For me personally, I the way I do it is, firstly, I want them to be able to defend. If they can't defend, they're just not going to work, because basically that's your first job. Then your second job is, if I can get a bit of creative, a bit of attacking from them, then that's brilliant. That's just a win-win situation for me, because you're getting a bit of both them. But first of all, I want them to be able to defend. That's why I would say that Wan-Bissaka is currently the best right back, best wing back in the league, because of the defensive ability he's got, and that he's starting to add in some of them attacking abilities as well. Abdi saying, why hasn't Fofana been mentioned?
We're on centre backs. We're talking about right backs first.
Abdi, slow down.
He's going as fast as Kieran.
I know.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, man.
So for me, if we were to pick our best wing back in the Premier League, I'm going Wan-Bissaka. I mean, that is literally who I'm going for. I think some of his tackling is second to none, absolutely second to none. Some of his stats on defending, like the way he tackles it, 1-on-1, he is the most brilliant wing back you can get. I mean, I'll put it this way: his tackles won is 239%. Trent's is 108%. That's the level between the two guys, and obviously they've played relatively similar amount of games. I mean, Trent's played an extra 16 games, and I mean, when you're looking at that alone, that's just absolutely scary. That, for me, that's what makes you a good wing back, is when you can do the tackling. But don't get it twisted. I still think Trent is a world-class right back. It just does make me laugh when people say, "Oh, Wan-Bissaka, he's still got a lot to learn." Trust me, he does. But on the basics of his job, he does it very, very well. Anyone want to fight that one?
I think
my answer with that situation is always Trent is always the obvious clear attacker. Wan-Bissaka is always the clear defender, and maybe it's bias on my end, but I always say that what Trent does defensively, which is his weak point, is better than what Wan-Bissaka does offensively. That's why he's slightly ahead in my eyes, anyway. Like, Trent is nowhere near the defender that Wan-Bissaka is, but he's not a bad defender. He's just
I'm not saying he's a bad defender.
He's not at the level that Wan-Bissaka, the godly level that Wan-Bissaka has been producing since he's come into this league.
I think it's pretty simple what these two need. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is missing a right winger that he can trust, and currently, right now, Trent Alexander-Arnold's missing the centre back that he misses. Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez; those were the two centre backs that he was relying on.
He's missing the midfield, not the centre back.
I don't even think that. I think
Regardless,
Trent's better without a centre back because he's been forced to defend a lot more.
That's the thing, but that's where his tendency lies. I don't think Trent does the basics.
He's a very good defender this season.
He hasn't been perfect. He's been the reason for many goals, I believe.
He used to.
What?
Klopp trusts him so much now as a defender that he's a right centre back when we're on the attack.
Look, he will eventually learn, and I do think where Wan-Bissaka is the exact opposite. He will learn how to attack, when we get a right winger, because I do think, obviously, as good as Greenwood is, he's not a right winger. Let's be honest, lads. He's a centre forward at heart, and he will be probably for next season. I think if we brought in Jadon Sancho, which is, let's be honest, it's very likely to happen at this rate, because we are obviously it's been over 2 years since we've been trying to get him, but I do think if we have a right winger with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he'll play a lot better. If we have another centre back that can help Aaron Wan-Bissaka instead of the fridge freezer, like Niall likes to put it, I think he'll play a lot better, and that's the thing. So, it's as simple as that. They're both missing something crucial in their teams, and that's why they're not playing at the best of their abilities, I believe. But there's a lot more to see.
I mean, that's valid. Anyone got any arguments on that one?
I think everything's been said.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're basically gonna pick. For me, what we'll do is we'll pick the top three, and then we'll narrow it down to who we think is best. So, for me, the top three I'm gonna say are actually Trent Wan-Bissaka, and so I actually don't like Reece James. I don't rate him. I really don't. I actually think he's average. For me, it's either Lamptey or Kashka. I think just both of them are just, they're some of the best that I think we've seen. That's what, in terms of below Trent and Wan-Bissaka personally. So I'll go with Matty Cash. I think I've liked a lot of what I've seen from Matty Cash this season. And he's still a very young person coming up from the Championship, which, according to a lot of Premier League fans, is really shit sort of quality. So it's nice to see a really shit quality player doing well in the Premier League, just to narrow that gap a little bit. So that's my three. I'd go Wan-Bissaka, Trent, and Matty Cash. Sauls, what about you, mate?
I'm going to go Trent first, just because I think a part of it is he is crucial to the Premier League and the win that they had in the Premier League and the Champions League as well. And then I'm going to go Matty Cash and then Wan-Bissaka. That would be my top three.
Was that in order?
Yeah, so it was, Trent, Matty Cash, and then Wan-Bissaka.
Yep. For me, I mean, you can say this bias all you want. And I will give reason to it. I do think Wan-Bissaka is slightly better for his defending. And for me, I think the reason was because we've already seen the best Trent. We have not seen the best Aaron Wan-Bissaka yet. I think everyone can agree that. What? No, but in his best team, let's be honest, you're not going to get a better team than what he had last season. You're just not. Unless you morph a better team, you're not going to get a better team. For United, there's always ways to improve, we have probably 4 or 5 positions that need improvement for next season. Will we finish them all? Probably not, because we are Manchester United. And what I do think is, look, if we get those 4 transfers, I think we can sum it up and say, look, this is your season, Aaron. Perform to the best of your ability, and we'll compare you to Trent. But so far, I think for what he has and what he's against, I think he's going up top for me. So Wan-Bissaka first. Second, I put Trent, and then third, I don't think you can put anything. I think you should put Lamptey as well instead of the question. So say joint third, you put Lamptey and Cash. That's why I believe.
Pick one.
You can't pick one. That's
You absolutely can. We'll go to the Etihad in a minute with Genie, but
if I wanted one, I haven't watched a lot of Aston Villa, if I'm really honest. I've watched quite a bit more of Brighton, so I will probably put Lamptey third, just because I've watched more of him than Cash.
It's not disgraceful to put Lamptey third. Like that isn't disgraceful. Genie, before you give your order, before you give your order, what's going on at the Etihad?
Yeah, I think that's a bit harsh from there, from Tom there. It's a ball whipped in, and Sterling's actually tried to flick it on. It's gone just past the post, and it's still 1-1, 15 minutes to go, Jeff. It's on his weaker foot, to be honest. It's definitely not City.
Yeah, Tom, you're being harsh. When I see the replay, it's just it's unlucky.
Mate, it's Raheem Sterling.
Connor's enjoying the Jeff thing, top tier content apparently. Abdul saying, I'm at the part where you're talking about left backs. Keep up, mate. think Fofana's more of a centre back.
Yeah, he's centre back.
Left
I
back.
I think he means that he's guessing that you're going right backs, centre backs, left backs, and then he's saying that he's actually in front of us, and we've covered centre backs.
Yeah. Well, we haven't covered centre backs. We'll cover centre backs.
There's a lot of story about that.
What's your order?
My order is Trent number 1. I'm going to give Aaron Wan-Bissaka number 2, and then number 3, I'm going to go Reece James. The only reason that I don't pick the name mentions, as in Lamptey, as in James Justin, Matty Cash, is I haven't seen enough of them. That it's all their first seasons. Reece James has had 2 seasons at a high level, played very well in the Champions League. And I have no doubt that all 3 names that mentioned for that 3rd spot are very good players. But I'm going to pick Reece James because I've seen more of him.
That's fair. Tom?
I'm going to have a very similar order as Genie, but my reason behind Reece James is I've got all the stats here, and while Tariq Lamptey and Matty Cash are both very good at both things, Reece James is top 2 or 3 at everything when you compare both defensive and offensive situations.
Now comparing
sure
the stats.
Well, he has, out of Wan-Bissaka, Reece James, Lamptey, Trent, and Matty Cash, he has the highest pass completion. He has the 2nd highest pass completion percent behind Wan-Bissaka, the 2nd highest total distance, the 2nd highest progressive distance, the 2nd highest short pass completion percent, the highest medium pass completion percent, the highest long pass completion percent.
Okay. We get your point.
Let's talk a bit about defensively then. So, interceptions.
Tackles in the defensive third.
One minute. Interceptions. I've done it all with percentages, so it's all fair. His percentage for interceptions is 79%. Lamptey's 175%. Matty Cash is 233%.
75% of things.
You definitely can. And then tackles. Okay, he wins tackles, so he makes more tackles. Tackles won though. He's behind Matty Cash. 106% on tackles, 147 for Matty Cash. So
on interception, he averages 1.6 a game. Matty Cash averages 1.68.
Okay. So Reece James has made 35 interceptions in 44 games. Matty Cash has made 49 interceptions in 21 games.
Well, I'm using Football Reference here, and they've got Reece James down in.
And I've got Premier League stats right here, as we're discussing Premier League, right? So we're talking Premier League. So we're not going to take into account any other competitions. This is solely based on Premier League.
Yep.
So he's got 35 interceptions in 44 games. Matty Cash has got 49 interceptions in 21 games. In fact, Lamptey's got 35 interceptions in 20 games.
I'm struggling to see that here because I've got.
I mean, if you want to go onto the Premier League website, the Premier League app, and then do player comparisons, and then come back to me. I'm not.
Shit.
Mate, I'm not going to exactly lie. This is the stats that I've got. I mean, went on the Premier League app, and I'd assume they're correct, because it is an official Premier League app. But no, look, for me, James ain't a bad one, but I just don't rate him. He's probably fifth best for me. That's my opinion. But Kieran, what's your order then?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you guys there were just doing my job, trying to give me stats to make my choice of a third. I wasn't sure, but you guys are just, putting on a display, which is good. But I think, for me, obviously, Wan-Bissaka and Trent have got to be 1 and 2. I think on balance, it's very, very tight. I think if you're going to have my defender's hat on, I'm going to put Wan-Bissaka at number 1. I'm going to go Wan-Bissaka 1. I'm going to go Trent 2, and I'm going to go with. It's difficult. You may both make compelling arguments, but I'm going to have to go with Tom and go with Reece James. I think. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
For me, I just feel like he's obviously we're not talking about Champions League, but he's done well in the Champions League. I feel like I've seen a lot more of him as well. But obviously Matty Cash, what is he like, 23? So he's still got a long way to go as well. So I'm sure if Villa do stay up, they probably will. We'll see a lot more of him. So I'm no doubt he can climb the list. But for me right now, I'd have to put Reece James at number 3.
There's been a goal, Jeff. It's Manchester City 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Gabriel Jesus puts it into the back of the net after a deflected shot. It just goes into the side netting. It's been coming for Wolves. They've been on the back foot all game. As we can see, RJ in the studio is absolutely fuming with this. It's going to go down to a VAR check, but
it's onside.
Yeah, it's onside, and Jesus puts in a shot that was deflected.
I mean, thank you, Jeannie. So with that, we've actually got a joint top because 3 of us put Wan-Bissaka and Trent. So do you know what? They're both joint top in terms of what we think is best, which is quite fair because one's very good attacking, one's very good defensively, and Reece James actually is third because 3 of you are assholes. But moving on to centre backs. I'm joking. You just Matty Cash is better. But going on the centre backs, has anyone found me apart from Fofana any other centre backs that we could use?
I haven't.
How old RJ? How old is Twanzebe?
Twanzebe's 23.
No, so we can class Twanzebe.
Oh well, Joe Gomez then if we're counting 23.
I mean, yeah, but Joe Gomez is like, where is he now? He's in like A&E at the moment. To be fair, he's not even on the football pitch.
So why you can't? What you put Lamptey? He's injured.
That's just uncalled for, RJ.
I'm sorry. Joe, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Nat Phillips can be in the conversation.
Oh no.
I'm
joking.
He can.
It's a joke. Jesus.
Joe Rogan.
Did you say Joe Gomez?
All I see is like one.
Ezri Konsa.
Ezri Konsa's brilliant.
Yeah, Konsa deserves.
Ben Godfrey's a good shout.
Ben Godfrey.
How old is Ben White?
Ben White.
Is he 20?
I think Ben White might just.
Ben White is 23 years old.
No, he qualifies.
He's October 8th, 1997.
Mm-hmm.
So, 23 years old.
Some good names there.
Eric Garcia.
Yeah.
You've got Gabriel, who's 23, if you want to put him in.
He's going to get shipped off to Barcelona, let's be honest, so we won't be talking about it next season.
Say Gabriel's 23.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to go in there then, doesn't he?
Yeah.
For sure.
Obviously Fofana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
He's a clear winner though right now, I think.
Yeah, I do believe so.
But I just don't want to upset clearly what is a. He plays for Leicester, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure he plays. Yeah. That shows how much I pay attention to.
Oh wait, Ruben Diaz is 23 actually.
Yeah. He's just put Abdi has just put Diaz is 23. So we.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, sorry, I take that back. It's Diaz in this case.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with him for the next 10 years.
I think the top 3 is very clear here. It's Garcia.
Got Eric Garcia.
Diaz. Diaz, Fofana, Konsa, and then it's just a personal preference what order you have them in. Because I don't think any of the young centre.
The order I'd agree with.
Yeah.
So do you think that Fofana's better than Joe Gomez?
Yes, 100%.
Right now.
I disagree only because he's played 16 games in the Premier League. Joe Gomez has been here for 2-3 seasons.
What was your order, Tom? What was your order?
I had Diaz, Fofana, Konsa.
Right. Sauls, what about you?
I agree with what Tom said.
Well, Diaz, Fofana, Konsa.
My only thing with Joe Gomez, I love how good Joe Gomez is, but when he hasn't had Van Dijk next to him, at times he's looked a little bit shaky. But at times he's also stood up to the occasion. Joe Gomez has the experience, but I don't think we can judge based off experience. I'm just judging off natural, footballing stuff. And I'd have Joe Gomez 4th. It's a very tight one. But I just love the way Ezri Konsa plays. I don't understand why Tyrone Mings is the one that gets all the credits because Ezri Konsa is
because he's aggressive. That's it.
And he's English.
They're both English.
Well, one's an England international then.
Oh.
I'm not.
We
I'm
can
not
say that
joking,
about
that's
Wan-Bissaka. Let's be honest.
No, but that.
And that's why he's changing nationality.
Who?
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka hasn't played for England, so he's going to change nationality.
Fair
He should be what, number 2 at least minimum. If we're taking right backs to the Euros, mine is Trent and Wan-Bissaka any day. I mean,
Mate,
when Trent's injured,
we all know that Kieran Trippier is going to play left back.
Yeah, no, I know that.
No, but he's still suspended though, isn't he?
But if I'm using my brain, if I'm using my brain and engaging my actual footballing brain, it's Trent and Wan-Bissaka, because if Trent gets injured, you replace him with fucking Wan-Bissaka. Oh no, that's gonna be horrific.
All the Liverpool fans.
RJ, mate. RJ, what about you?
For the first time tonight, I agree with Tom. There will definitely be more disagreements, but for right now, yeah, the order is that's fair. Diaz top. I mean, it's done it all to be fair, but anyway, yeah, that's the order I'm going for.
Yeah. Genie.
I'm going Ruben Diaz top. I'm going Joe Gomez second, and then I'm going Ezri Konsa third.
Oh my God! Come on, man.
No, it's Premier League, and I've watched Joe Gomez play over 60, 70 games. I've watched Fofana, who's somehow second and third, play 16 games. So there's no chance he gets in the top 3 for me.
Yeah, but what about Ruben Diaz? How long has Ruben Diaz been here for?
And you can't compare Ruben Diaz. Don't you?
Why is he first? Why is he first? Only seen 16 games. Why are you saying that about Billy?
Do not compare Ruben Diaz's impact.
But what
have you seen what Ruben? You can fully see that.
Yeah,
Fofana's played 16 games and hasn't made a huge impact.
Yes, he has.
Well, he's been injured and they've been fine without him.
The reason why he hasn't doing well is because they haven't got a good centre-back pairing with them. So you knew pretty much is either suspended or injured.
Yeah, but I'm not doing if buts. I'm not saying, well, if Fofana had this guy next to him.
If Gomez,
I don't do ifs either. I don't do ifs either because if my auntie had a dick, she'd be my uncle. So we don't do ifs and that's it.
And then I'd definitely say Ezri Konsa over Fofana. I think he's better. I think he should partner Stones in the Euros, and I really rate him.
Yeah,
you know he won't, but we'll move forward.
Well, I mean,
I know what.
For me, my 4 centre backs to take to the World Cup would be Godfrey, Konsa, Ben White.
You can say all this, but the fact is, Southgate.
Nat Phillips, because I would not take a part of a fridge freezer. I'm sorry.
Well, in the World Cup.
Mate. Do you know what, Genie? I would prefer to play Declan Rice before Harry Maguire.
You're taking Nat Phillips over Joe Gomez to the World Cup.
Well, Euros then, because Joe Gomez.
The Euros. The Euros, not the World Cup.
Joe Gomez has got a little bit of a.
But he's not going to miss the World Cup. It's in 2 years.
Well, you don't know. He is quite injury prone as well, so there is that as well.
Okay, then we can't take Stones to the World Cup because you never know, he could get injured.
I wasn't planning to take Stones anyway. But Kieran,
you wasn't going to take Stones to the World Cup.
Genie, calm down.
Kieran, to lose it.
For me, I have to agree with what the guys been saying. I think it's got to be Diaz, Fofana, and Konsa for me. I can see what Genie's saying with Joe Gomez, but I think one big thing that I think Tom might mention is the fact that when he is playing next to Van Dijk, he can look a bit when he's not playing next to Van Dijk. He can look a bit shaky. And when you've got a player like Van Dijk, he's going to make all your defenders look better. Let's be honest. But I'm not saying he's a bad defender. Of course he's not. But I just don't think he gets into that top 3. So for me, I'm going to have to just go with the front 3 that these guys have said already of Diaz, Fofana, and Konsa.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with 5 of you. Genie is the only one that disagreed with all of us on that one. I somehow don't think that we're going to get another category like that as easy as that, to be honest with you. Just because I just absolutely know we won't. But let's obviously, we've done wing backs, we've done centre backs. We can't think of any goalkeepers, can we?
Henderson.
Fuck off.
Come on.
Anyone else? Well, we're not doing. Name me at least 3 goalkeepers, and we can do a debate. No, okay, we're moving on to
There's
centre
no debate.
midfielders.
What about left back?
We've done wing backs.
Oh, all right. I thought we did right backs. That's all.
No, we just don't. We just.
Yeah, I didn't put any left backs in because I just thought we did right backs.
Neither did I. It's just because I actually
all
think
the
that
left
the right
backs
backs
could
are
be
better.
like.
No, it's just because I think the right backs are better. Like.
What about Kieran Tierney?
Luke Shaw this season has been seriously.
How old is Luke Shaw?
Hold on.
Well, Kieran Tierney's
not
probably up there.
Tierney, he's 20. Oh, he's sorry. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Why can't we put Luke Shaw in with the?
Tierney's 23.
Hold on. Why can't we put Luke Shaw in with the Premier League youngsters? I don't know.
No, Riyad Mahrez put the game to bed. It's 3-1. It's all over.
Fuck.
Over to you, Jeff. What are you saying?
Jeannie, what was that like?
Yeah, it's a neatly finished goal, to be fair, Jeff, and Sousa just put the nail in the coffin, like he said. It's all over now. It's 3-1. United fans crying that they're long gone. Man City's continue.
I mean, Liverpool were never in the equation anyway, so don't worry about that.
That's exactly why we're not crying, because we're not in the equation.
No, you're crying for that's all.
Yeah, no, Kieran Tierney's got a great shout of being a good wing back. I don't know.
Do we want to include Alexander Zinchenko?
No.
That's where he's been sold.
I was just about to say, shit happens, doesn't it? So, I mean, do you want? Have we got 3 left backs? We've got Tierney,
Justin, Tierney, Chilwell. That's it.
Yeah, all right, we can move on then.
Yeah, we can move on.
Should we all just say Kieran Tierney's probably the best left back?
Move on.
Right, James Justin, then Tierney, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair. I'll just write that down because I'll forget. But centre mids, Sauls, who's your shouts? Obviously, we'll debate this one a little bit.
I'll let RJ go first. I'm just trying to think of all of my.
I'm
just trying to think
Okay,
of
do you know what? I'll go fucking first then. So I've got Conor Gallagher, Curtis Jones, Billy Gilmore, and Declan Rice. In no specific order, they're just my picks. Sauls.
Yeah, I think Curtis Jones I'm going to add to the conversation as well.
I did say Curtis Jones.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you did first,
yeah.
No, I think.
Damn.
I've seen a lot of it.
Unless there's another Curtis Jones that I'm forgetting about, or
sorry, I didn't hear that. No, I agree with the picks that you did with Billy Gilmore. Obviously, when he first came on, was dubbed to be like the next sort of Kante or something, and unfortunately, with injuries, obviously that's kind of hampered his development, and we can see a lot in him. Curtis Jones, obviously, for me, has just been fantastic. I think I've always said, you know, why he doesn't get the plaudits is because. Abdi makes a good. Are we talking about man, or is that going to be a separate segment?
Abdi, you're talking about attacking central midfielders,
right? Okay,
and then I've only got 2 of them, so we're going central mids because it seemed a bit fairer because some of these won't have the attacking stats that amount. Or
are you counting DMs then?
Yeah, so DMs or central midfielders because they're virtually the same.
For me, I think
anyway.
I just like seeing Curtis Jones, so I'm going to go for him.
Harry's saying, I can't believe Luton actually won another game against Nottingham Forest. Get on, Harry. He's a happy boy. My team decided to be charitable. We're bottom of the league, so fuck you, Argyle, and go fuck yourselves. I hope you enjoy some of Martial's lovely fucking weed, you wankers. Apart from Argyle and me slamming my team, hopefully maybe the Big Show will go body slam them in the changing rooms after the game because they deserve all the pain they get. But yeah, no, it's I forgot what we were saying. RJ, you were talking, I think.
Could you name all your the players as you mentioned, please?
Conor Gallagher, Curtis Jones, Billy Gilmore, Declan Rice.
Donny
There
van
has
der Beek.
been a goal at the Etihad.
Oh,
It's
please.
Manchester
Is
City.
it not offside?
Oh,
goal.
turn it off. Turn it off. Just put me out of
One,
misery, please.
After a very tight VAR check, they had to get the lines out with a finger and thumbnails to be fair there, but they've given the goal at the end. Gabriel Jesus gets it, and that is full time. Manchester City 4, Wolves 1.
Jesus.
Sorry
I know
for
it's
the
gonna be
interruption.
absolutely fuming.
Donny van der Beek also fits into the category.
No, I mean, he's barely played in the Premier
Donny
League,
van der
man.
Beek. Come on.
I'm just saying he fits into the
Ah,
category.
let him in.
Tom. He's
I'm not
not
saying-
even played in the. He's
No,
not even played in
the
the.
top three. He's not in the top three. Conor Gallagher's better than him.
He's
But-
not even in the conversation. He's in. If we're talking bench warmers, then yeah, sure, we can add him in. But I'm talking about players that play in
Alexis
central
McAllister
midfield.
qualifies for Brighton.
Who?
Alexis McAllister.
He's not going to get it.
Well, it won't get in top 3, but
I'm
he
just giving
deserves
you
a shout.
people who qualify. Just
He deserves a shout.
the centre mid list was a bit small.
It's okay. We've
Ruben
got
Ruben
longer.
Diaz. Not Ruben Diaz. Ruben Neves.
Ruben Neves fits it.
Yeah.
I thought he was 25.
No, that'd
fine.
be
I think
Coutinho, wouldn't it?
Martinho's like 30, mate.
Ruben Neves is very
damn.
close to being 24, but he's still 23. 23
Oh, so he
years,
makes it.
54 days.
In that case, then Ruben Neves is top 3. I'm joking. I'm joking. Though I'm not going to piss everybody off. Don't worry.
Right. RJ, who? I mean,
the
who would
thing
you
is,
be picking as the best central mid?
The thing is, I've such an agenda against one of them, and I think most of you know who it is.
Right.
No, really.
RJ? How about you be sensible about this, and maybe they might be sensible about the sort
Douglas
of winning
Luiz
side.
also fits in for Aston Villa.
Who?
Big
Douglas
shout.
Luiz.
That's a big shout.
What was your order, Souls?
We haven't
didn't really give
done
it-
orders yet. We're just literally naming the players, and then we'll get to that. Genie
Yeah,
trying to
that's
rock
the
us,
same with people.
rock
I don't
us
think.
ahead.
Yeah, no. Move on to someone else. Let me just.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go
Right.
because from what I've
Tom.
seen there, I'm going Declan Rice top because I think he's exceptional.
Stop.
Actually,
Oh,
guys, make sure we do this correctly, all right? Just because
Douglas Luiz
I
second.
want to see those
think
tears.
Him for Aston Villa, he's been crucial to their brilliant season so far. And I'm going to go for Curtis Jones there because what he's done in this Liverpool team, we're next to who was brought in to be one of the best midfielders in the world. He's outshined one of the best midfielders in the world while being man of the match, arguably in the past 4 games for us. He's had a number of great moments, and to break into the Premier League champions when he did, we were at the peak of our powers when he broke in, and he's just come on leaps and bounds. Performed how his heart backs to this year against Tottenham at home. That was one of the best central midfield performances I've seen this season. I think he did get the assist for Salah's goal. He was everywhere, and it was a brilliant performance from him, and that's why he sneaks in there just ahead of Neves.
Yeah, that's fair. Genie, what would be your order for central midfielders?
Yeah, first Declan Rice. He's done it for like over 100 games consistently well. Second, I'm going to have to back my star boy Curtis Jones. Tom covered it. Tom covered all the reasons why he's exceptional. And then third, I just knocked one down from Tom's, Douglas Luiz. Another brilliant shout, being superb. I thought he was quite average last season, but this season he's been superb. But I'm going.
So have you gone for Rice? Have you gone for Rice, Jones, Luiz?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Kieran.
Sorry to disappoint RJ, but Rice has got to be number 1 for me. I think I had to put.
I'm going, lads.
I'm gonna put Douglas Luiz in second. I thought that was a great shout. Whoever mentioned it first. Again, yeah, he's been very, very good this season. One of the reasons why Aston Villa have kind of overachieved, some would say. And then the third one, I was going to put Ruben Neves in, and obviously, Curtis Jones as well is up there. I think if Wolves were having a better season than they were this season, I think Ruben Neves has to be up there, because last season he was brilliant, and even probably since Wolves have been promoted, he's been one of the main reasons they were knocking on the door of top 6. He has been fantastic. So in terms of longevity, I would go with Ruben Neves, but Curtis Jones, on balance, has had a very good impact on that Liverpool side. So it's a very, very difficult decision for me. But I'm going to go with Ruben Neves.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you're upset. He put
Genie
Declan Rice
is
first.
no, I just hate Ruben Neves. I think he's so overrated. I think his only good season was his first season.
So does he join
Genie,
the line
I've-
like Richarlison and all those other players that you despise?
Genie, I've got one question. Did a linesman, did Macy Ellis, the linesman, do anything wrong in the Chelsea Man City match? All right. Charlie,
no, not with the VAR.
Okay, so I don't know why Charlie's not.
No, it's because she called offside for the Gabriel Hayes. But let's be honest, right?
Which
That
was
was
very
so
tight.
tight.
It was
Yeah, it was
so
so
tight.
tight. You're gonna give it.
Right, okay. Charlie, calm down. You won 4-0, 4-1.
Yeah.
Mate, so you.
Like, why are you complaining?
just- You can just relax. Right, so we've had the Genie and Kieran. So Sauls, what will be your one?
I just love seeing RJ in pain, but I do agree with this one as well. So it's Declan Rice first. I was always going to put Jones second, and then Douglas Luiz third.
Yeah, that's fair. I also concur with Sauls. I love to watch RJ's tears. They're real tears. So I'm going for the great Englishman Declan Rice, who will one day be kissing our badge when he lifts up the Euro. I will then go with Curtis Jones second, and I want to say why. He's the only youngster with over 90% pass accuracy. Also, when you look at his stats defensively, it's one of the best youngsters there is. He's got 76% tackles with 40% success rate. Only Gilmore does better, but obviously he's only really played 8 games in the Prem. Declan Rice is obviously top of that list, so that's why I'm not really saying Declan Rice much. But Curtis Jones, for me, everything he does, I mean, his pass forward is really good. It's 22%. That's the passes he's sending forward. His pass back is 20%. So he's very good at doing the stuff that goes unnoticed. And this is why when people say, oh, you can't do it all by stats, well, you can. You just have to make sure you get the relevant stats for that position, which is why I separated my central mids into 2 stats. One which was for sort of pass and possession based, sort of the teamwork, and then one was based on the defensive side. Obviously, assists. He's got 1 assist, but his job, I bet he'll have a lot of them second assists, which is assist before an assist.
One of the things I did in my research for Curtis Jones was I used Football Reference and I compared him with a lot of the more well-known players, and the comparison was quite stark. The player that he's most similar to, according to Football Reference, is Leon Goretzka, who you'd put arguably in the top 5 midfielders in the world, and he has stats this season comparable to him. Also on that list, David Silva, Luka Modric, Bernardo Silva, Joshua Kimmich, Mason Mount, and Fabian from Napoli. There's some world-class names, and he's putting up stats, not at that level, but if you were to convert it down to a percentage, at that percentage level. So I think the sky's the limit for him.
Totally agree, and he has to be, for me, in that conversation. He might not be, and I remember saying this on a stream with Sonny before, he doesn't do 9 million step overs and he doesn't do 5,000 kick ups sort of before he pelts the ball into a top right hand corner. But the stuff he does just goes unnoticed, and he is that engine of that team, which is why I think Curtis Jones absolutely has to be in for a shout. But we've and then I'll go with Louise as third. RJ, I'm presuming Declan Rice number 1 for you, yeah?
Yeah, definitely not. I did my research and I'll ask the question:
Of course, you did.
Does Yuri Tielemans fit into the group since he's 23 years old?
Well, yeah, we said 23. Yeah.
He's 23. Yes, he is.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
he's number one.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe him as a sort of attacking one. I
would have
some
classed
reason-
him.
I don't know.
I would.
I feel
That's
like
why
maybe,
I
yeah,
sort of
but
left
see-
it. That's
Anyway,
why I sort of
I'm
left
gonna
it.
keep
'Cause
him
I
just-
feel like
Just for the banter, right? Just for the banter, right? I just put Yuri Tielemans first. This is for the banter, obviously. Second, Ruben Neves, and third, Luis. Just so that fucking snake doesn't get in. And no, for
Well, he's in anyway, so
What?
don't matter.
Well, he does.
I know,
but
for me, in
so
my
you
heart,
went,
it's
you went Tielemans, Neves, and Luis,
fuck it. I don't give
or
a
was
shit.
it Luis Neves?
Well, why can't
I don't
Tielemans?
know.
Did you go? Hold on. Did you go Neves as second?
I'll put Neves second. Yeah, I'll put Neves second.
Right. Yeah. Jeannie, what were you gonna say, bro?
Why can't Tielemans be in this comparison?
Because
I just thought he was more of an attacking midfielder.
yeah,
Maddison
I
covers
agree
that
with
for
that.
Yeah. So he's more like a
Yeah,
box to box, really, to be fair.
Yeah, they play a 4-2-3-1 with Ndidi holding and Tielemans box to box.
Well,
yeah,
in that
I've
case,
only
Keelan
really got
gets ahead of
two.
Louise.
Yeah, but I've only really gone for two. I've only really got two attacking central midfielders, maybe three actually. So I want to put him there just to add a bit of bulk into it. It's a fair one, but we've all gone for Declan Rice as number one, apart from RJ, but unfortunately he's been
You can
outvoted
keep-
by five
yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
Second in the list is actually Curtis Jones. If RJ was smart, he would have given his vote to
Tom,
Douglas
don't fist
Luiz
bump. You didn't even put him in second.
I put him in third, mate. It's my vote still went. He got 3.
And then we've got Douglas Luiz in third. So now we move to the attacking central midfield. Now, the ones I've got, Mason Mount, Smith Rowe, and Phil Foden. Not in that order, obviously. Anyone obviously will add Tielemans into that as well. Anyone got any other shouts for attacking central midfielders?
I'm just going through now, trying to see.
Did you say Mason Mount's name?
I did, yes.
Does Giovanni Chelsea qualify?
How old is he?
No,
And
he's
a bit shit.
24.
And he's a bit shit.
Oh, jeez. But what were the players again now that you said? I've missed out the first one.
So Foden.
Phil Foden, Mason Mount, and Emil Smith Rowe.
All right.
And Tielemans.
Cool.
Joe Willock
Tielemans.
qualifies.
God.
I mean,
Yeah, but he's
The
not.
list
He's
gets
not.
worse
He's
and
not.
worse.
I think the first one's pretty obvious. I think we can
We're scraping the barrel at this point.
Yeah. Smith Rowe in it, obviously.
We'll just go with the four because we're not going to go scrape no barrels. I mean, hold on. In Jesse Lingard a youngster still, according to you?
Oh, he is, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
That guy.
He's about
Yeah,
22. He's 22.
He's an
Yeah.
18-year-old, 28-year-old. Yeah.
He's fucking filled with potential. That guy is. So
He got another 20 years.
is this one really going to be controversial, or should we just go straight to the vote?
Well, we
Skip
saying
straight
James
into it.
Maddison or not?
Well, I mean,
No,
Madison's too old, I think. It's
Probably.
Madison 24.
I know, but he should be in the Euro squad, I do believe. Well, he deserves to be. I think.
I mean,
Yeah, but we're not talking
that's
about the
brilliant.
Euros here. We're talking
I
about.
was
know,
just
yeah,
about to
no,
say, I
I'm
mean,
just
that's completely off topic from RJ. Well, do you know, I'll kick off the voting then, because I feel like the one we've got after is just where all hell is going to break loose. For me, I'm going to go with obviously Foden first. Anyone argues with that, and I'll ban you from the channel for life. Then I will go for Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount is about 100 times better than Smith Rowe. I have my reasons. And then I would go for... I'm going to go for Tielemans in third, and I have reasons. I can see Sauls is like, you what? My reasoning is Smith Rowe is well, he's got 4 assists, no goals in 14 games in the Premier League. Man is dog shit. No,
Who's
he's got
that,
potential. He's just
Who's that?
Smith Rowe. He's got 0 goals and
I
4
can't say
assists.
he's dog shit. All right, fine. Whatever.
Sauls is like, I'm not going to fight for Smith Rowe. I know who I'm fighting for.
No,
I feel
it's
like
just,
his fight.
I mean, that comment just clearly shows you've not watched the games then. Because he's not dog shit.
I mean,
Doesn't get in ahead of Tielemans, Mount, or Foden. I think we all understand that. Like them three.
I'm gonna put Smith Rowe in.
I am as well.
Are you having him ahead of Mount?
No. I'm having
Oh my god, there's 3 positions.
I'm having Foden first, Mount second, and Smith Rowe third because I just don't think Tielemans is that. He's not comparable to Mason Mount, Foden, and Smith Rowe. He plays a completely different role at Leicester, so I'm not going to put him in there. So I'm going to put Smith Rowe third.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
I might try and argue that Mason Mount goes top. Because I do think he's that good. And I think
what did you just say?
Mason Mount might well go top.
I hope you're joking.
No,
I know. I rate. No, listen. All right, I rate Mason Mount to the highest. Honestly, I think he's one of the best players for Chelsea. I think he's one of the best players in the league on form. But he's not better than Phil Foden, in my opinion. Phil Foden brings another bit of energy to that Man City.
What's been Phil Foden's best position this season?
The thing is, he's versatile. He can play. Listen, his best position.
No, what's been his best position this season?
Cams.
Right wing. Right wing.
That was really
I
bad.
think everyone would agree. Everyone would
I agree that Mason Foden is a better attacking mid, but off what I've seen this season, he's been so good on the wing, and I think Mason Mount is criminally underrated by a lot of Chelsea fans. Like, I don't think they understand how.
No. He's not underrated. He's just, I think,
if anything goes wrong at Chelsea, who's the one who gets the shit?
I know exactly who they
Abraham.
But RJ, what's your ranking then? So, I mean,
for me, I would
clearly disagree.
I see Phil Foden first. I do think all of them are very talented players, but. For me, Mason Mount second, Tielemans third because I don't think Smith Rowe. He's not developed in the Premier League yet. Obviously, he's been here and he's done a great job so far. Yes, I understand, but that could be just that's his first season, right? We'll have to wait and see what his second season's like. And you do have to understand that Tielemans is part of a squad that is always injured or at least have a few injuries in it. Because let's be honest, Maddison's out, Barnes is now out, which is a huge blow to Leicester. James Justin is out for the entire season. You know, he's part of a team where literally at least one player that's part of the starting 11 is injured. So you can't really say that he's at his best so far.
You don't have to mention injuries. You can just put him down pure ability as well. Like
ability wise, he is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sauls, I sense something a bit different from my one.
I swear, if he says Emile Smith Rowe first, I swear to God.
No. Look, you know, I'm not, you know, the biased one on this show.
He's thinking about doing it. He's like, fuck
no. I'm not
top.
silly. You know, every time I've been on any of the
shows.
Hold
up a minute. You put Bruno Fernandes in a tier.
In a very good,
Yeah.
Very good, yeah.
Like, taken away.
Where's the guy been against the top? I don't give a shit about the reason. Where's the man been against top 16? Again, he disappeared.
Surely we can't get into this debate again.
We're not going to get into this debate, but I'm just sensing he hasn't always been sensible on all of them. And you admitted you weren't sensible.
I've not been sensible. Bruno's not turned up. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, but there's also other reasons, and I hope you.
Oh yeah, now there's reasons. You know, okay.
Well, no, there's always been reasons. No, Sauls, there's always been reasons because he is just playing next to a load of shit. To be completely honest,
I mean, you
can say that about like any player. Then
by Dom, to be fair,
not really. I mean, I definitely can't say Phil Foden's been around some shit this year.
No, but he's obviously going to be like, you know, bad. But then you can't say Mason. Been around some shit as well.
Mason Mount. Hold on, he's got Aubameyang and he's world class apparently. Don't give.
But has he been world class this season?
No. Don't give me that. Right.
Is El Neni good?
Oh, stop.
Mate, Xhaka is world class.
Granit Xhaka world class now?
Hold on. So what's Saka then? What's Saka then?
Oh my
Saka
god! Yeah, one
apparently
player. So what's
so
Greenwood then? What's Greenwood then?
You've got Saka or Aubameyang. You've got Saka or Aubameyang.
Yes, but have they performed
And then
this season?
Lacazette.
That's what I'm asking. When
I mean-
he's come in, have they performed? Not really.
Yeah, it's been better than McTominay and Fred, but we won't get into that.
Come on.
He definitely was not McSauce on Sunday. He was I can't find a pass, or a 2-yard pass for that. But Sauce, what's your order?
Foden first, obviously. But I do agree with what Tom's saying. Foden this season has been better on the right than he has been down the middle. And I think I don't even know if he has played down the middle this season in terms of Cam. But obviously, I'll go Foden first, Mount second, and then Emil Smith-Rowe third.
I mean, fair. Emil Smith-Rowe ain't that bad. I just want to see more from him. As a creative midfielder, I want to see more creativity and more goals personally. Which is something that both Mount and Foden do bring to the table, and even Tielemans as well. I just want to see more creativity, right? Once he starts delivering the creativity, then yeah, of course he's in with a shout. But right now he's not delivering that creativity. That's my personal opinion. So we've had 4. Tom, have you given yours? Yeah.
I said Mount first, Foden second, and Tielemans third. But you could make an argument for Foden first. I just think Mason Mount is criminally underrated by a lot of people, and what he does.
Oh yeah.
Ridiculous. Like he's got shades of Lampard. That's how good he is.
Look, I think the reason that the Chelsea fans don't sort of respect him a lot is because he was picked by Lampard every week, but what they don't take into account of what he does.
He got in off merit. He wasn't picked because he was Lampard's golden boy. He was
the only criticism I've got of Mason Mount is his shot accuracy isn't the best. Right, so when I compare it to Foden, but that's the only thing. I'm not saying Mason Mount ain't good. I'm just saying that's the only bugbear that I've got with him. Because when I look at even Smith-Rowe and even he's got better shot accuracy. Him and Foden have got 60% shot accuracy. It's the only one. That's the only part of his game that I think actually does need a little bit of improvement. But to be fair, if that's the only thing I can pick out, then he's obviously doing something right. But his passing and everything else is on par with everyone else. In fact, his assists are better than Foden, and they've played the same amount of games. Foden, well, after tonight, they played exactly the same amount of games, I think. But Kieran, what's your order?
Yeah, well, I have to go with Foden at the top. As much as it hates me to say it, he's a class player. You could argue world class. I don't know. It depends what your barrier is for world class. But he's quality. He's unreal. And I'm sure he will become world class, whether you think he is or not. At the moment, he will eventually become that. Mount second, I think again, he's someone who's one of Chelsea's best players on form, certainly. And would probably get into most teams' midfield in the Premier League as of right now. And then the third one, I think Emil Smith-Rowe for me is a player that shows that it's kind of the beacon of light for Arsenal as one of their players who's the beacon of light. You've got like Saka, Smith-Rowe, that if they can do something with those sort of players, they will be going in the right direction. I think Smith-Rowe, of what I've seen of him, he looks very, very good. But just on the basis of longevity and just what I've seen, I just think Tielemans in third. But I think Smith-Rowe, you could definitely argue, he could go third as well. But I'm going to have to put Tielemans.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So we've decided we're Foden number 1, Mount second, and Tielemans third. Charlie's put in a comment saying www.21 was always coming, but you were thinking of the wrong team. .co.uk. RJ, any response to that? I can see you already in the comments, but
oil money. But can you tell me what the fan channel's called? Because we all have
what the fan channel's called. called?
I mean, you look
Isn't
at
your
fan
response to 21's coming home? Fan job.
I'm just saying now, plastic. That's all plastic. You know what I mean?
Oh, mate. Yeah, you've won the Premier League, but where's your United stand? Where's your...
I'm just saying that, the fact is that, they can say they're a big club all they want, but the fact is, if they don't have a fan,
Charlie does sum it up perfectly. RJ, what the fuck you on about? And Charlie's saying we are officially safe up the fucking Blues. I don't think your safety was ever in question, Charlie. Don't think anyone had Man City.
I think Harry Maguire and
unless he's on about Oldham, I think it's Oldham is his local team. Unless he's on about Oldham, I don't think anyone questioned Man City's ability to stay in the Premier League this season. I think it was always a pretty shoehorn debate on that one. But this is where it all goes badly wrong for almost everyone in the building. We move over to wingers or inside forwards, and the ones I've got for Justin in the category that we can include: Mason Greenwood, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Martinelli, Saka, and Harvey Barnes. So, Sauls, where all hell breaks loose, who would you say is in the category? We'll start with the category.
I wouldn't personally put Martinelli in, just because of the injury has actually hampered what people really think of him.
But so I just wanted to put him in there just in case I wanted to put him in there just in case Arsenal fans were watching and didn't bombard my Twitter with I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, no. Well, what I'll say to them is
I put him in the category.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to be a bit, sensible and just trying to show people. I'm not here to be biased, but I'm here to be. Let's be real about everything.
Abdi saying, "Where is Neto?" I'm pretty sure I said Neto, right?
We discussed, yeah.
No, you didn't.
No.
Oh, well, he's definitely on my list. He's in between Callum. He's in between Callum Hudson-Odoi and Martinelli. I'm not even joking. So he is on my list. I must have forgotten
your list again now?
his name. But no, Neto is definitely in. So Mason Greenwood, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Neto, Martinelli, Saka, and Harvey Barnes. But Sauls, who's in your category?
Yeah, I mean, I think the category kind of speaks for itself. I think you've obviously, other than the first time you missed out Neto, but I personally would take out Martinelli. I just think it's just his injury that's hampered him, and I think it's a bit difficult to compare because you've got Saka, Greenwood, Neto even, and Callum Hudson-Odoi playing pretty much regularly since they broke through. That's the only reason why I'm not going to pick Martinelli, even though I do think he's got a very high ceiling, and we know his potential is up there with, potentially being one of the best wingers in the world. But unfortunately, it's just one of those where injuries have hampered that. So that's all I've got to say on that.
I mean, when I think it was after the Carabao Cup game, Jurgen Klopp said he's a generational talent.
Yeah.
Our own manager said that Martinelli was that good. He was. He's really good at that. It's just, what was it? Was it a knee injury?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure because I've forgotten what it was. But yeah, he had to get operations done, and it was like to do with his knee. But I don't think it was an ACL. I think he got lucky on that front. But
he's just not getting used by Arteta, and this is why one of the reasons why I want Arteta out, because he's destroying a really good young talent.
Did you not see Willian's brilliant performance versus Leicester, and you're telling me that Marcelo deserves to start over that?
But one brilliant performance doesn't mean that you should be in there all the time, because hold on, Tom, Adrian kept a clean sheet. Fuck it, he's there for the season, bitches. No. Charlie has responded to RJ before we go to Jeannie. We are a big club because we have a fan channel with at least 500k subs. That's like saying we're a bigger club because we have more followers on Instagram than you. So basically saying they have more fans. I don't know why a fan channel really matters, but
please stop. Please stop.
I mean, Charlie, we'll make this a fan channel at some point if you want. Who has more oil money? Us, Chelsea, or Adama Traore? He's fucking done Traore there.
I mean, Cancelo boiling though. Adama Traore was trying his best, but Cancelo held him off.
I'm surprised with that much oil. But Jeannie, who would you say is in the category? And no, you can't put Salah or Mane in there. They're
No,
not young.
I agree with everyone. I wouldn't put anyone else that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm just looking at that. That's a very strong list. So yeah, I don't know who I'd add.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. How old is? Oh no, Origi doesn't play on the wings, does he?
Jota misses out by a couple months. But
Oh, unlucky Jota.
Straight up number one.
I mean, no. Tom, who anyone that you'd add to that before we start the?
I don't know. I'd need to have a proper look at it, but I think that list there is very strong. My only issue is you've got such different play styles there. Because of how diverse all the tactics are in the league, it's going to be hard to compare the likes of Saka, Hudson Odoi and Greenwood because they don't all play the same style.
Yeah,
you know, Hudson Odoi is more of a natural winger, whereas Greenwood's a natural inside forward. Saka does bits of both. Neto does bits of both. You know, it's
So
going to
does
be
Barnes.
tough to compare. Yeah, Harvey Barnes.
Can I make suggestions?
How old is Rashford?
23. I was going to say him, to be fair.
Yes.
And if you're really looking at class, if you're really looking at the wingers, and you're looking at the
I don't.
how can you not say he's a youngster when you were comparing 23-year-olds? I mean, the fact is,
no, leave this list. He's so far. He's so far.
No,
clear
because
at the minute.
but doesn't matter.
No,
think,
if we
I
were
just
comparing
think
Trent,
Rashford is
we compare Rashford. I think that's how you got to do it.
no, but no, I disagree, and the reason I disagree with that is because Trent's got someone to fight with. Wan-Bissaka is someone to fight with. Rashford on this list smacks them all about like they're flaming nowhere.
Yeah.
Like Rashford is so elite. Do you know what I'm gonna go? 1 minute, RJ. Let me finish before you start chirping in about all the ages. I will probably put an elite category for Rashford and just chuck him in there because he's that good and he's still so young. I'm probably just going to put another elite category of elite and then just chuck Rashford in there because he's so far ahead of everyone. It turns this debate into wet food. So no, I've got a plan for Rashford. It will be at the end where we praise him on almost anything he touches and does. He's just that good that if we put him in here, it's not even a debate then. It becomes just so boring and easy. But Rashford is such an elite player that, I mean, he's probably too good to be classed as a youngster, to be perfectly honest with you. Like that would be my viewpoint. I mean, he is just that good. But he's just an elite player for me. He is that good.
Yeah.
But Kieran, anyone you'd add to that list?
No, as the guy said, I think it's a pretty strong list. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know why it's come to my head, and I think it's probably not the right position. But maybe someone is Eze. Eze's not really an inside forward, is he?
Oh, Eze.
He plays midfield, I think, more.
All right, fair enough.
Shit! Yeah,
That's
we may or may not have. We may or may
Royally
not have
fucked
done
that one, yeah.
I argue we would have put Eze ahead of Tielemans because he's been so good.
Anyone watching, forget that we even mentioned the word Eze, and he just forget that forget that bit happened. So the last 20 minutes didn't happen. But Kieran, thanks for chucking us in.
Yeah, well done, Kieran.
Listen. Yeah, as I was saying, the list is very strong.
Short and sweet.
Right.
Exactly.
This is where the fight really begins. Not because we're not going to tier them yet, right? We're going to discuss them sort of as a group, and then we'll get to it. For me, the standouts there are, for me, 4 standouts: Greenwood, Neto, Saka, and Barnes.
Yep.
Just purely, and Tom was absolutely correct when he said that people do things very differently. Greenwood has got the highest goals percentage out of all of them. You'd expect that from an inside forward. Barnes has the highest assist record in them because that's the sort of thing he does. Saka, he's very good. He does a bit of both. It's tough. Again, Callum Hudson-Odoi, his goals aren't great. His assists are fairly on point. it is a difficult one. And Neto, he's just. Do you know what Neto is? Just I love the lad. I think Neto is absolutely brilliant, and he is going to be playing. He's going to be playing at Home Park next season. It's just guaranteed. The sky that he'll be seeing is lovely green chairs because he loves us. I'm joking. I can only fucking wish. I did just sign him in a football manager save. I think it was Dortmund. So yeah. But moving from that, that's mine. I'd probably. I know it sounds harsh, but I probably wouldn't have Callum Hudson-Odoi in there. I would have him in there, but he's certainly not going to be.
Callum Hudson-Odoi problems as well.
Yeah. No.
Trouble with injuries at one point, so.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that.
A bit, to be fair, but if we're judging certain people, it's got to go to everyone. So he's a good player, but I think it was an ACL he did or something like that against Burnley. That stunts them for a season.
Yeah, that's why I kept Martinelli out of it, because obviously he was out for about 8 months, and then when he did come back, unfortunately he picked up another knock. Not really a full-on injury, but that's why I've said, like, you can talk about him, but it's going to be more potential based rather than what's
that's the thing. I've got them in the category because they are good enough and they can achieve it. But I think when we get to the later stage of actually putting the votes in and talking, what I want us to do is probably narrow it down to 4, and then we'll start doing the voting. So my 4 would be Greenwood, Neto, Saka, and Harvey Barnes for me. I think all of them, they're all very different. Mason Greenwood is very good at getting those goals. Neto and Saka are good all-rounders. And Barnes is brilliant at both as well. But that would be my 4. Sauls, what about you, mate?
Yeah, no, I agree. And for the reasons I've been echoing all pretty much the whole time is with Martinelli and Hudson-Odoi, unfortunately, the injuries do hamper how highly we can think of him right now. Because I think with Martinelli and Hudson-Odoi, we'll be going off of ifs, buts, and maybes rather than what have they actually done. So for that reason, and I think it'd be very unfair to compare them because their development was hampered due to not like, they were out for a week. No, they were out for like season-long injuries. And the reason why Martinelli doesn't look so bad is because COVID came in and that kind of covered a lot of his sort of missing time. But it was an 8-month injury, which is what people don't realise. So that's why I do agree with Niall, the 4 that you've said, just for that reason.
Yeah. Charlie just saying in the comments, Adama has 5 goals in his Premier League career and 3 of them are against City. I don't know if that's
I'm happy that they're against City, let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't know what to think.
He also says Foden over Rashford. I think they play 2 different positions. For me, I prefer Foden through the middle, Rashford on the left. But RJ, who would be your 4?
I'm just going to make it quick and simple. I agree with both of you. I think, like Sol said, injuries affect the 2 of them in Callum Hudson-Odoi and Martinelli. Yeah, if not, they would definitely be in the conversation if they didn't have those 2 injuries. But right now, you have to go for what's happening right now. So, yeah, I do agree.
I genuinely, everyone watching, I thought this would be more heated, but I'm guessing they've all had Martial stuff delivered. But Jeannie, what about you, mate?
I don't know how anyone can dispute them 4. I love Martinelli as a footballer. I got to watch him live against Arsenal in the FA Cup when it was 5-4. Yeah, he works his socks off. He's a brilliant footballer, but he's just not at this stage yet, and that's because, like we've said, of injuries, and obviously this season, a couple of injuries, not getting the chances that he deserves. He's a fantastic player, and I think in years he has the highest of ceilings. Not in that list, but he has very high ceiling. But at this current stage, I don't think you can argue with them 4.
Yeah, that's fair. Tom?
Yeah, I think everything that needs to be said has been said. We're blessed in a sense to have this much good young talent that we're even debating them. All 4 of them are brilliant. All 4 of them could start week in, week out for the best teams in the world. That's how good they are. So it's no easy feat to try and discern who's the best and worst out of them.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. Kieran, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I can't make any additions to that. I think as the guy said, it's pretty well the strongest we probably could come up with. Yeah, the quality, just absolute quality players, and I still think even though we're not considering Martinelli and Callum Hudson-Odoi, they're brilliant players. I mean, Martinelli for me is actually an United fan. I always judge players on how much they kind of worry me as a player in terms of if they become good, how good they'll make their club. And Martinelli's definitely one of those players that worries me. So for me, a very, very strong list. Very, very strong list.
Yeah, 100%. I'm half tempted to rile up half of you and just say Saka and Greenwood are shit, but I won't do that. Get a bit of energy, but from dog shit. No, I'm joking. Look, I think they're just all brilliant players. But now the tough bit has arrived.
This will be the disputing bit.
We have got to try and determine who we think is best. Oh God, we'll start with Souls because we'll just start with Souls. Who would be your top 3 out of them?
It's hard because I'm going for one, that's in my club, and then I'm going for a homeboy as well in Mason Greenwood. I've had the privilege of obviously meeting him, being from Manchester, and I've had the ability to actually play with him when he was younger as well in a kickabout. And
actually, just Mason Greenwood is like my favorite.
There's a lot of other players, but
Mason Greenwood is like my favorite player. So Souls has officially been banned from the channel now. I'm joking.
That's why it is difficult because obviously it's hard because Saka he's not always been a left back. I mean, he was a left back and then obviously became a winger this season, and he's added goals and not just assists to his game. Like overall, it's fucking hard, man.
Charlie's just trying to rile up RJ.
For me, if I'm going to be quite honest, I just think Saka is first for me. And I mean this is like very fine margins. There's a hair splitting it with Greenwood in second, and then Neto was my third.
Yeah, that's fair. RJ, you're next.
This might cause a little bit of controversy, but this is the Let's Talk Premier League. But let's go anyway. For me, I think Greenwood first. I think last season he burst onto the scene like no other. I think every legend was talking about him under the sun. People were comparing him to Robin van Persie in his prime. So I mean that's a good shout for him. Second for me, and this might cause a tiny bit of controversy, but I'm going for Harvey Barnes, if I'm really honest. I do see a lot of potential in him. Obviously, I do think he's a big part in that Leicester squad, and every time he's been playing, he's either first, second, or third best player on that pitch. And obviously, you could argue any other player, and then last for me, I think Saka has to go third. Obviously, I do think Neto is a really good player, but judging what Saka is doing, I mean, Arsenal pretty much rely on him at this rate, and they shouldn't, because let's be honest, eventually he will break down and something will happen to him eventually, because that's what will happen.
Yeah.
But he's very talented. He goes for number 3, but no insult to him. They're all very talented people.
Do you want to know what I like about RJ's top 3? Every single one of them are fucking English. Have that. England are going to
okay, let me change it. James McLean.
No. Get fucked. England are going to win the Euros and the. Do you know England are going to win the Euros and the next 5 World Cups? You've heard it here first.
Right, but Genie, please. I'll do it myself.
When's Ireland ever got to a World Cup? But Genie, you're up next.
For me, as we all know, they're all top talents, and it's a very, very hard choice between them. I've split them in a 1-2 and a 3-4. So 1-2 for me was a battle of Saka and Greenwood for the first and the second spot. I am going to say Bukayo Saka because I think right now he's better than Greenwood. I think Greenwood has a higher roof than Saka because Greenwood has everything at his feet. What that guy can produce is brilliant. Obviously, he's had a couple behaviour issues. He's had quite a tough season on and off the pitch. But I think Saka
if you're about to say Greenwood's had behavioural issues, Ollie shut that down in the press. So I'm just saying.
I'm saying that he's had a tough.
Iceland incident.
I'm saying that he's had a tough period on and off the pitch. He lost his mate to suicide, I believe. So, but yeah, I just think that Saka right now is better. I think in 5-6 years, I think Greenwood would tip this debate because I think he's got more to him. But Saka's doing it in a lot worse team, and this Arsenal team is literally reliant on this 19-year-old to produce. So for me, I'm going Saka number 1, Greenwood number 2, and then I think I'm going with the similar stage with Barnes and Neto. Similar aspects really, because I've actually put Barnes as number 3. I think at this current stage he's better. He's a better player. He's got very good attributes, but I do think Neto also, like Greenwood, has a higher ceiling than Harvey Barnes. He is in a worse team. He's a little bit younger, and I do think he has more to his game. But right now, you can't dispute what Barnes is doing for Leicester. He's going to be a huge miss with his injury. So my order would be Saka number 1, Greenwood 2, and Barnes 3.
Yeah, that's fair. Tom?
I echo similar statements because it's so difficult. It's split into 2 categories: Barnes and Neto, and Greenwood and Saka. You know,
Yeah.
We're lucky as England fans, bottom RJ, to have the best young women football.
Welcome to Let's Talk Football.
I mean,
We've got Harvey
hold on. Haven't Ireland got Declan Rice and Jack Grealish?
No, we don't want snakes. We don't want snakes in our.
I'm
They're snakes. St. Patrick got rid of them. St. Patrick tried to get rid of all of them, but apparently they came along.
Did they come over to the better side? Oh, fuck, shit.
No, they went
If you really want to win that debate, we took Jack Grealish and Declan Rice and gave them Patrick Bamford in return.
Enjoy
it tells you what he do with, you know. You're horrible people.
But
enjoy Bamford.
It's all right, RJ. Just let us know what the next talent is, and we'll take him too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go for because Greenwood was so good this season.
Scotland beat you Euros
so this season.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Lee Griffiths fucking.
Well, obviously, based off their prem, I think that would be fair. I think that's what we're doing. We're basing it off their prem and what we think and all of that. It is really difficult, 100%.
I'm going to go Greenwood first because what he was doing last season was at that point only comparable with Wayne Rooney, I think. Like, he was breaking all sorts of records, but that's not bad on Saka because what he's done with this Arsenal team, he's carried a subpar Arsenal team to where they really shouldn't be this season. Like, they've been so poor, they don't deserve to be where this young kid's dragged them to. But he's done it by pure willpower. The Chelsea game, he dragged them to a win against the Chelsea team that were banging form. I mean, it's so tight between them. It could change week by week. That's how good both of them are. Yeah. And then, purely by preference and watching him play, I'm going to go Pedro Neto because how he's still at Wolves is beyond me. I don't get how he hasn't been snapped up by not even a Premier, like a top 6 club, by a Barcelona. Like, he would be the dream for them. He's so.
They are broke, so.
Plus, their former owners got arrested yesterday or today. I mean, so it's all looking down.
Yeah, fuck him, dickhead.
If Neto doesn't get into a top 6 side this summer, I'm gonna have a riot.
When did Wolves sign him? Just out of curiosity, because I can't. Was it
20
years ago, wasn't it?
It was last season.
He was in the championship. He was in the championship.
He weren't.
Was he not? I swear he was.
No, he wasn't.
He signed last year. He was on loan at Lazio the year before.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
On a permanent and sold him straight away to Wolves.
Yeah, he's such a talent.
But that's not
and great replacement for Jota. Like, Jota had made a big impact at Wolves, and now look at what Neto's done. It looks like there's no.
Let's hope for Wolves it's their time of charm when we go and nick Neto in the summer to have him partner.
Damn, you really try and ruin all these small clubs. First Southampton, now Wolves. Jesus. Liv was horrible at this stage, you know. What's next? What's the story like? Are you going to hunt down every other club's best player? I heard Ben White's free at this rate.
At least when we buy the players, we play them. I'm like, don't have to be sitting on your bench.
It's not like Liverpool paid fuck all for him. They did give them 40 million for Jota, so
it was 30 million.
Surprisingly, they spent that much money.
Tom, I was trying to back you here, but
yeah, no, I'm
I'll fight with everybody regardless.
Mate, we gave them a good right back in Quaver.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely got potential to be a good one. But
potential,
Kieran,
but like
Kieran, who would be your three?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's very, very tough. It's one of those ones where if you'd asked me this question last season, I think the number one would have been a no-brainer for me. I would have gone with Greenwood.
Yeah.
But because of the way Saka's played this season and the way that obviously Greenwood hasn't had the best of starts to this season, obviously as Genie pointed out, he's had a kind of rough time off the field as well. But I think, it's so difficult. It's so difficult when you look at it. I think if we're going off recently, we're going off
the whole Prem.
Well, okay, the whole Premier League career. Again, it's splitting hairs for me. In terms of all Premier League career, I've got to say Mason Greenwood, and that is very, very tight because Bukayo Saka for me, if we were going on recently, I would have put Saka at top. Because I think Saka, what he's doing at Arsenal, he's putting up. Realistically, if a world class player, if a player like the world class wingers have the numbers that Bukayo Saka had, this season, you'd be thinking they're having a decent season. And the fact he's still very, very young, he's got a ridiculous ceiling. So for me, it's going to be Greenwood number 1, Saka 2, and then I'm going to go with Pedro Neto 3 as well. I think, don't get me wrong, Harvey Barnes, again, is a quality player. He's done it in the big games as well. He looks like a good talent, and I'm sure he will, play for England, probably when he's a little bit older. Or even some people might say he gets in the England squad now, but that's another debate for another time, I'm sure. But I'm going to go with Pedro Neto. On the eye, he is a superb player, and as you've said, realistically, if he does not, get a move from Wolves this transfer window, I don't know what other clubs are seeing. They must be blind.
I don't think I'd be like Ed Woodward would be like, let's sign Pedro Neto of all players. Like, Jesus.
To be fair, if you don't get Sancho, you'd be stupid not to get Neto.
No, if we don't get Sancho, we're going to
outrageously
from Barcelona. Like,
seriously. Mate, Neto's better than that.
Oh well, yes, but like in the eyes of Mr. Ed Woodward, who's Mr. Businessman, he will go for the one that makes more profit.
Ed Woodward isn't the one that does your transfers anymore. I mean, we all know that Ollie has a big say in it. You scout.
Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ollie might even look at Neto as a potential option because he'll probably be cheaper than Sancho potentially. If the Sancho one doesn't bear out well, then someone like Neto at United on the right wing would be absolutely vile and disgusting for almost anyone to be watching. Or maybe even a Harvey Barnes, but you got English tax to pay for that as well. So don't forget that one. I concur with everyone. It is such a difficult debate. Everyone knows that Greenwood is my favourite youngster. So obviously for me, I will go Greenwood. Also, the reason I say Greenwood is if you look at his season last season compared to Saka's season this season, I think Greenwood still had a better season last year for me. And I think it is just such a tough one to choose.
One thing I will say about that, Niall, is give Saka the full season because he only played half the season. To be fair, as much as we don't think we are judging Greenwood off a full season last season.
Yeah, but we can also be. Who's to say that in the next half of the season Greenwood ain't just going to do a madness? And
I'm not disputing that, but just you've got to give Saka the full season before you can say whose season was better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, what we're judging right now, like if we were doing this debate in 3 months' time, it could be different. But from right now, I think Greenwood just edges it, and the reason I say just edges it is because it is just so difficult and so close. And I just think also that the impacts of both players are absolutely amazing. I think you look at the impact Greenwood had at United last year, it gave them that ability to get top 4. And everyone knows my opinion on this Arsenal side. It's far below the standard that you expect, and the fact that they are being dragged up by a 19-year-old Bukayo Saka is absolutely disgusting. Like it shouldn't be happening. But that just shows the player that Saka is. And if Arsenal don't start backing up their ideas and performing on the pitch soon, in terms of getting up into Champions League, Europa League, sort of consistently, I see Saka leaving because he's that good. Saka deserves to be in a Champions League spot every single year. That's the standard of this player. He is such a phenomenal
I remember
talent.
how highly Sterling when he broke into our team, and Saka is 10 times the player Sterling was at the same age.
Yeah. Could you imagine, like, in the next World Cup, a front three of Rashford, Greenwood, Saka? Like,
I'm
Greenwood
just
through the middle, Rashford on the left, Saka on the right. Like that.
I'm just prepping myself for the Euros, watching him start Raheem Sterling, even though I've never seen performance by Raheem Sterling.
Yeah. But
that's a Southgate for you, isn't
it? In what, 3 years' time? Yeah.
The thing is, we've got a plethora of great options as England fans now. You know, it's going to be tough for any manager to come in and find the right team for this.
Yeah, but Southgate's just not the right man.
I would also concur with that. I think just for me, in a couple of years' time, we're probably going to see a front three of hopefully Rashford, Greenwood, and Saka. I think that would just with Foden sat behind them. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Where does Sancho fit in? Because does Sancho get in above Rashford in 3 years' time? I don't know. Does he get in above Saka? Frankly, I don't know. Like, it's such a difficult one. But that's you're going to have one of them on your bench. Like,
you don't have one of them. Saka can play left back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I won't. Yeah, but
over Luke Shaw, though. I'm sorry, over Luke Shaw.
Yeah, in 3 years' time, yes.
Oh, in 3 years, yeah. Sorry.
Well, no, because Luke Shaw
will be.
Hold on,
27.
Luke Shaw will be 28 then. He'll be 27, 28, so he'll be in prime. I'll be a prime Luke Shaw. Like, but that's what I mean. You're gonna have the likes of either a Saka, Rashford, or a Sancho on your bench. How disgusting is that?
After 60, it's just for Southgate to play two DMs.
Well, yeah, you just know that's going to happen. But hopefully Southgate will be sat by then. But that's just disgusting. One of them on your bench, and after 60 minutes, if it ain't working, I'm just going to bring on Sancho like that. Other nations go like, oh, for fuck's sake! It's just because he's Sancho warming up, going, I give up now. He's not even tired. Like, it's going to be like that. But I'd go for Greenwood 1, Saka 2nd, and I'm going to go with Harvey Barnes in 3rd, just because it's Harvey Barnes. Like, I just absolutely, he's another talent who he's also going to be Rashford, Sancho, Saka, Barnes. England aren't going to be Grealish, yeah. The only thing I see is we're probably going to struggle up front because Greenwood and Calvert-Lewin are the only two I can think of. Kane will be about 30, and have you seen his ankles? By the time they're 30, his ankles are going to be what? He's going to need new ankles. That much is a fact. But I'd go with that much. I'd go with that, and then in a category all on his own is just Rashford because he's just that good as a youngster, in my opinion. In fact, he's just too good to even be classed as a youngster. But yeah, so in total, it is Greenwood first, Saka just coming behind Greenwood in 2nd, and then it is joint 3rd for Neto Barnes, but Barnes just scrapes it with a 2nd from, I think it was RJ. So it has been tough. Although RJ, I do have one question: Barnes over Saka? Are you drunk?
I mean, like the way he just played against United. I mean, he was literally one of the reasons why we lost that game. But he's been a crucial part. I just don't. The thing is, right?
Well, what's Saka?
No, I understand. Saka's been a very good player. I just think from the start of the season, I think
everyone else has been umming over Greenwood and Saka, and you put him in fucking 3rd.
But you know, I just want to be diverse. I want to be different. That's the
RJ,
thing.
let me put it this way: take Saka out of that Arsenal team, the 15th. Take Barnes out of that Leicester team, the 5th.
I mean, he's already out, to be fair, but I mean,
Sauls, go for RJ. He's put bloody Saka third, like, please. And
I mean, I think he's humiliated himself enough just by making those comments. I mean,
oh, come on.
Souls go for RJ.
I mean,
the
the guy's turned his camera off. That tells you everything. I don't have to say anything. The guy's doing it for me.
The reason I say it is because I just looked, because I've been jotting them all of our results down, and then I just saw 3 because I was like, hold on, how did Barnes get a number 2? Because you put Saka in third. And I was like, hold up a fucking minute, what? And then I was like, I know I came last, so I was like, well, Sauls did that. RJ's done that.
In my defense, I did say it was controversial. So I did say it was controversial. So
no, it's not controversial. It's stupid.
I mean,
there's a difference.
I mean, it's just kind of like,
everyone's opinion, except when it's just played.
I mean, we won't talk about your opinion, Salah, but okay. Anyway, we move forward, don't we?
You're still sad about
Yeah,
there are some.
They've never forgot about that.
RJ, I was equally as upset about Salah being there. Do you see me going on about it every fucking minute of the day?
You're still an undercover United fan. That's
RJ probably wakes up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night going, fuck, Tom, put Salah in the head of Ronaldo.
No, too fair. At the end of the day, like, I'll just say, like, really, I do think Saka is a really good player, and I do think, obviously, yeah, give him time, he probably will be generational. I just think, from my opinion,
give him time and he'll be generational.
No, from this entire season, from what Arsenal fans have done.
God.
So shut up.
Man, I can't be
I'm sorry. You're the player that you're the person that just said Bruno Fernandes is not world class. You do not deserve to have a conversation.
We never said he was world class.
Oh my God.
You said he's very good.
I'm not world class. We said he has had a GOAT Premier League career because that is what it was on.
Oh, come on.
Well, this is the content that you get now for saying Souls go for RJ.
Mate, how can
no. Look.
How can you not put Bruno? Like, wait, I know we're sidetracking, obviously, yes, but I'm just asking Souls, how in the name of God?
I mean, how do you think Saka's gonna become a generational talent?
Because he has all the tools to become one. Yes.
So how isn't he one now?
Because he's part of the.
So when is he going to become a generation? When he's 30, like Jesse
Lingard? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm thinking whenever he moves to a bigger club or Arsenal actually upgrade and become a Champions League team, that's when
that's like me saying when Bruno turns up against a top 6 team, then I'll put him in goal.
I mean,
I don't. No. We can look at the reasons. We can do all of that. But, you can make all your excuses about tactics and all of this. Saka's playing with a bunch of shit. And
you're saying Bruno isn't. And you think Bruno isn't. He's playing with Anthony Martial.
But we're meant to put him in goal. But apparently Saka can't be generational. Yeah.
Saka's playing with
Thank you. Okay, you're just saying it for me, bro. I don't need to say nothing. Just keep talking and you're digging yourself. Yeah, digging yourself, mate.
I mean,
Cheers to you, Niall. Thanks for that content.
He's got bellowing, doing the overlap.
Well, the title was Heated Debate, and that was more like a fucking.
It was as easy as that. Souls go for RJ. It was that simple.
You're welcome, boys.
Souls, RJ put Saka in third. Go for him. Charlie's put Bruno as a forward. He has the same amount of goal contributions against Big Six in 2021 than Edison.
And Alisson.
No, that's not what I mean, right? That's not what I'm trying to get at. But what I'm trying to say is that when you're going to say Saka isn't a generational talent already or he hasn't proved it, that's just embarrassing, yeah, because clearly, you know, look at that. See, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to do anything.
It gets tough.
Oh, he did say he had to go. RJ had to go. No, I'm joking. But no, we're gonna leave it there. Obviously, I'll be posting the results of the top 3 on my Twitter. What strikers?
Yeah, there's not many.
There's only what?
Rian Brewster. Oh, fuck off.
I will argue Ryan Brewster deserves to be up there. He's just not playing a good
I'll
team.
argue that Ryan Brewster should go over Tammy Abraham any day, but that's not exactly a debate, is it? Charlie saying RJ has left. I think RJ had to go. I think he has school in the morning. But I think that's done unless Tom can come up with 3 under 23
Charleston.
British.
Ollie
No,
Watkins,
Tom,
you've
just
got
forget his
Watkins.
name.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Um,
25, Ollie Watkins. Shit, I thought he was younger.
yeah, it's not a debate. I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
it's
not much. It's not much of a debate, and I think it's fair. We've got sort of wing backs. We've got centre backs. We've got sort of central midfielders, attacking central midfielders. And we've got the wingers inside.
Gabriel
Jesus. Oh God.
He's dog shit though, man. He ain't that good.
And then we've got Rashford in his own category called just elite because he's just far too good to be put in this debate.
Oh.
But
I think his development is just far too ahead to even look
true,
at.
Yeah, you can't even put him in this sort of thing because I think that would just be more disrespectful than leaving him out. Right? So to leave him out and just put him in an elite category all on his own, that's less disrespectful than putting him in there and trying to debate it. Like I think that would just be even more.
Yeah, because he's a staple piece, whereas the others are still becoming the players. And
yeah,
that's
even Foden, like even Foden.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Oh, fuck off!
You
you
really are scraping the bottom of the barrel there. But no,
it will be between Jesus and Charleston.
Oh God, that is not a debate I think Genie wants to be having. But no, I think everyone else, even Foden's still becoming that player, whereas Rashford is doing that, and now he also feeds kids for a living. So, is there anything Rashford can't do? Is probably the question we should be asking. But we are going to leave it there. Everyone, make sure you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Sauls, where can they find you, bro?
Yeah, you can find me at Gooner Souls or at Let's Debate Footy on Twitter. There's a lot of content coming up, mainly Arsenal related, but I do also try and cover controversial topics that I do get suggested to talk about. Because as Niall and probably some of the people know, I've got a no-holds-bar kind of platform where we go in on situations and we really try to raise awareness, whether it's to do with racism, discrimination, all the way down to just abuse to people. So that's literally all you can find.
Yeah, I'll be doing. There'll be something similar on this channel to what Sauls did, but a lot and other things come up. Apparently, Michael Essien has lost 1 million followers because he supports the LGBT community, which is, fucking lovely in the 21st society. So that we'll be absolutely discussing that here as well. Because apparently you have to unfollow someone if they support gay people. It's quite extraordinary today's society. I don't know where it even comes from, but we'll be doing something hopefully over the weekend is when I'm planning to do that. Kieran, where can they find you, bro?
Red the Weekly on YouTube is there, and also Red the Weekly on Twitter. I don't really post that much on Twitter. Sometimes I do. So if you feel free to follow it if you want. If you don't, then that's completely up to you. And I do mainly content on YouTube, previews, reviews, all that stuff. So even if you're not a United fan, or if you are a United fan, go check it out. But cheers for having me on. Good discussion.
No worries. I've been in the comments when Kieran's doing a couple of reviews, and it's quite a funny one. And we're obviously going to have a preview for the Manchester derby at the weekend. So hopefully Kieran will be there, and hopefully he'll be there for the United show as well, being hosted by the person who will be hosting the mornings. I've been telling the people to check into United show, and you'll find out the new host for the morning news sort of segment, and that's a strong indication. But Genie, where can they find you, bro?
Yep, just Genie about on Twitter. That's it.
Genie's like, that's it. Absolutely not. We're not even debating it. Tom, what about you, mate?
Fuck it up every time there. There.
Yeah, all the links.
I need to start doing that. Yeah, just.
That one. Yeah. Well, luckily mine covers sort of the whole screen, so it's like, yeah, just there, boys. But no, all the links are in the description, so you can just click on them. It's quite easy. Well, cheers for Charlie to making all of that, because I CBA with all that extra work. But big up Charlie for that. And you can find me at Niall_PAFC, where you'll find out what we're planning, the new sort of content we're bringing. Might even be starting up a new Twitter for this page. I'm not sure yet. That seems like a lot of effort as well. But you'll find me over there as well. As I said, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. I'll be back tomorrow morning with some of the sort of bigger news that's happening, a couple of transfer updates as well. And yes, Charlie, I see you in the comments saying you want to be on that preview for City United. And as it is a City United, and I suppose we should probably let you on. And I feel like you're just going to trigger. That actually is going to be quite funny, because him versus RJ, that actually does seem like that could be fairly amusing. So make sure you tune in. It will be sometime. It might be a build-up show, or it might be in the morning. I don't know. There's so much going on. There's also Tom's been giving us ideas, and there's something that could be happening Sunday evening, which is going to be complete and utter madness, and it's going to be
something
horrific.
Jeannie doesn't understand because it was in text form.
Yeah, Jeannie didn't quite understand it because it was in text form. Charlie's happy he's going to be on the preview. But yeah, as I said, check everyone out, and until tomorrow morning, cheers, guys.